The Podbreed Network is strictly for the small podcasts that are up and coming in the vast world of podcasting. Podbreed is made up of many diverse podcasts coming together to achieve the same goal of being the best damn podcast network on the planet. Find out more at podbreed.com.
This is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. You listen to the XY show, and I think you'll really enjoy it. If you don't, oh well.
The opinions expressed on the X and Y show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y show, and I'm your host, Roosevelt. Welcome. This is my second episode that I'm releasing right after because of the tropical storm last week. So I'm making it up to you like I promised. So, hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're naked, and especially the women. You're sipping on your wine or your drink, and you're just having a good time listening to my voice. And you're feeling sensual right now. You're going to send me some naked pictures. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not, but Welcome. Glad to be here for another week. We're getting through this year. It's already July something. So we're halfway through July. Before you know it, we'll be in those birth months. It'll be September before you know it. And September, that's, for those of you who know me, I like the birth months. Because, once you get in those birth months, it's a prelude until Christmas. The ultimate time of year, which I like. I love that time of year. It's the winter time, and even though it don't get cold in Florida, but it gets cooler. So I'll take that. Just that time of year is so much happier. So we're in July, and then we have August. And then once we get in September, we're on those birth months. So I'm looking forward to that. And hurricane season to be over. All right, let's get started. This week's letters from Max. Max wants to know, what is your sign? Okay, Max, my sign is Scorpio. Okay. Not sure why a fucking man is asking what the fuck my sign is, but okay. Next one is from Kelly. Do you have kids? Do you want kids? No, Kelly, I don't have any kids at the moment. Not that any of that I know of anyway. No kids. And I do want kids. But when I get to a certain age, if I don't have them by then, I'm not having them. I don't want to be 60 years old, 65, having my first son, and high school graduation. I'm there 80 years old, and nah, I'm not doing that shit. So once I get to a certain age, if I don't have them by then, fuck it. It just wasn't meant to be. But I do want kids. Next one is from Paul. Do you date outside of your race? Well, Paul, I'm a part of the human race. So I date, other humans, if that's what you're talking about. But I think what you're talking about, do I date other nationalities or people from different ethnic groups? And the answer to that is yes. I have no problems dating outside of, my ethnic group or nationality for that reason. I like women, I don't look at color to determine if I want to be with a woman or not. So now I will tell you that I'm really not attracted to, Asian women, not because I don't like them, because usually they're very small women, very little, skinny. And that's just my preference. It's not, they're just too little. They're just too little, and they appear too fragile. For those of you who listen to the X and Y show, I like Amazons. I like women, not necessarily women who are muscles and shit. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like big women, like women who are 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", like Amazons, like strong, like women, with ass, stuff like that. Look like they can handle a pounding in the bed, that kind of shit. So that's why, Asian women, they're little, they're beautiful, but they're just little. They just don't do it for me. Now, I'm not saying that it's absolutely there's no way I'm going to go with Asian. I'm not saying that. I might get one that blow my hat one day. Who knows? But as a preference now, that's not what I'm attracted to. So, but to answer your question, Paul, yes, I absolutely do date outside of my nationality and my ethnic group. I have no barriers as far as that goes. So, all right, let's get into this week's episode. Should women settle after 30? A lot of you women saying, oh, shit. Yeah. And you're right. You should say that because I'm about to get in your ass. Should women settle after 30? And I'm going to say yes, absolutely. And a lot of you women are saying, oh, no, I knew he was going to say that. Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And no, you shouldn't settle. You should, women should, if they want this, they should get that. No, that's bullshit. And women who follow that agenda, usually the ones that end up alone. This is another episode, women, I'm trying to help you out. This is the episode for the exes. Again, a lot of you, I get emails and you don't never say nothing for us. That's bullshit. I've put my card many times in jeopardy, my man card, many times for women. And you guys don't appreciate it. I get these emails from comedians and shit and saying shit, and I'm putting my man card in jeopardy, trying to help women. And you don't appreciate it. So this is another episode for the exes. I don't want to see women miserable. I think if women are happier in society, it'll be a happier society. That's what I believe. I mean, if you go back to Adam and Eve, right? All that Adam had, he had all the food that he wanted. He wasn't hungry. He had the animals used to talk to him. He could pet a gorilla. He played with lions and shit, like domesticated animals. He swam in the ocean with fish used to come up to him, the birds used to come up to him and talk to him and all of that. He had all of that and he still wasn't happy. He still wasn't happy. And he asked the Lord, he said, the Lord asked him, what's wrong, Adam? And he said, I'm lonely, because, the animals were there, but, they didn't look like him, I guess, and, he wanted someone that looked like him, I guess. So that's when God made Eve, the woman who made Adam happy. Adam was happier after that. And that's when we really got fucked up, but that's another story. Eve fucked us up. We still fucked up. Making Adam, eating that apple and shit, and you know the story. Anyway, my point is that all that Adam had, he still was not happy until Eve got there. When Eve came, he was a happier man. He had somebody to talk to. He had somebody to hold him. He had somebody to love him. And I'm talking about other things other than sex. I'm sure that was good too. But he wasn't happy until Eve got to the scene. And that still goes on to this day. I believe if women are happier in society, it will be a happier society. That's what I believe. So I don't want women to go miserable. I don't want women to be unhappy. So, I put out episodes every once in a while to help the exes. A lot of you don't listen. You still do your thing and, and Roosevelt, fuck you, and get emails, cracking jokes and shit. A lot of comedians out there. But if you listen to me, you'll be in a better place. So this is for the exes and the wives too. It's for the guys too. Listen, all my shows for both. That's why it's X and Y. But this is the paternity to the exes. So I don't want women to be happy. So should you settle after 30? Absolutely, yes. You should settle after 30. But let me elaborate. Let me explain this. From a physical point of view, after you get 30. Now, some of you women in your 40s, you still fine as fuck. 50s even. I mean, look at me. I look Jada Pinkett's mother. I wish that I can have her and do some things with her. Jada Pinkett's mother is 67 years old. 67, 68. She's looked better than some women in their 30s. And women in good shape. So there's some things I would like to do for her, but she's a freak of nature. Most women, when they get 30, that's when they start to decline physically. I'm not saying that you're not fine anymore. No. There's women out there in their 30s. Look at J-Lo. J-Lo is she's 50? She's fine as a motherfucker. So I'm not saying that you lose your physical attractiveness, but I'm just saying when you start to hit 30, that's when your decline begins. You're going to lose a little bit. I don't give a fuck who you are, what kind of genes you have, who's your mama, who's your daddy, how many times you work out. I don't give a fuck. When you hit 30, you will start to decline physically. You don't look like you did when you was 20. No matter what you do. No matter how many sit-ups you do, no matter how many push-ups you do, no matter how many bike classes you take a week, you can't get that 20-year-old body back. You're on a decline. You're on a decline. And you know that clock moving, you're getting closer to, if you want to have a family, that clock is moving. So physically, you start to decline at 30. you know. And by that age, your pussy has a lot of mileage on it. A lot of miles. You know, at this time, if you're 30, you got a lot of mileage. A lot of you say, no, I only had sex with 3 guys. Okay, good for you. But, you know, you've still been fucking. You know, and that's a rarity that women, by the time they get 30, they have 3. That's rarity. That's a freak of nature. Most women, by the time they get 30, they done fucked quite a few, more than 3. So that pussy got a lot of miles on it, a lot of miles. Pussy got a lot of miles on it, right? And like I said, if you want to have kids, you know, you're past 30, you're coming close to that age. You know, some of you have kids already. You're 30, you know, some of you have kids from mistakes in the past. And you're still holding on to these ideas that you want this kind of man who does this and does that and makes this and makes that. Yet, you want another man to come into your house or to come in the house with you and raise someone else's nut. That's essentially what you want. And that's a lot to ask from a man. That's a lot. A lot of you don't realize how much that's a lot to ask a man to come in and raise and take care and provide someone else's nut. That's a lot to ask from somebody. So, you know, you're aging. You're getting closer to menopause. Now, a lot of you say, damn, I'm just 30. Yeah. But that's when it begins. You look around, you'll be 40. You know? You look around, you'll be 42, 43. That's happening to so many women every day. They're in their prime one minute, they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Next thing you look around, they're going through menopause. Time waits for no one. And like I said in my last episode, you get in those transitional fucks, you look around 10 years going by, 15 years going by. You've been complacent with this motherfucker over here who's just fucking you. You look around 10 years going by. You got in a relationship with him. You're 28 in your prime. You guys break up after 10 years. You're 38 now. Be careful with those transitional fucks. They've gotten a lot of people in trouble. So you're getting older. You're aging. You're getting closer to menopause. You're declining physically. You don't look as good as you used to look in your 20s. Okay. Now, statistically, when you get 30, there's a lot of women out there who look better than you. I don't care how fine you are. You know, like I'm gonna give you a prime example. J-Lo. That might be going too far because J-Lo's in her 50s. I can't think of anyone right now in her 30s that's still single. Damn. I don't keep up with them motherfuckers like y'all. I'm gonna just use J-Lo because y'all know J-Lo. And I'm not trying to crash J-Lo or nothing. I like J-Lo. She's fine. You know, whatever. And I use her because she's single. You know, she's been married a few times, I guess, twice. I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, she's single. Now, as attractive as J-Lo is, there are women out there who J-Lo couldn't hold a candle up to. And women that you never heard of, women you never seen before. You know, women that are not multimillionaires, you know, of course, they're not celebrities, just regular old women, just, you know, regular women in the neighborhood, you know, that you see in the club or the grocery store. There's women out there that J-Lo couldn't hold a candle up to. There's women out there that Kardashian. There's women out there that she couldn't hold a candle up to. It's not because she's ugly now that she's older. No. But it's because there's a lot of women out there who are a lot younger in their primes. And they just look better. That's just life. You know, I mean, it's just life. So when you get 30, that's another thing. You know, you're declining physically, and there's a lot of women out there that look better than you because they're younger. You know, you're 30 now. You're going towards menopause. A lot of you say, well, damn, no, what are you talking about? You're 30. Yeah, I know, but I'm telling you, you look around, you'll be 40. You know? And you're a lot closer to menopause than they are. So, that's a decline. Physically. So that's what you're dealing with after you get 30. Now, that's the physical part. The mental part. With a lot of women, when they get 30, you know, the longer you stay single, that's with anybody, a man or woman, but we're talking about women. So the longer you stay single, the harder it will be to get married. Because you're setting your ways, you know, and a lot of things you don't want to compromise on. You say, I'm not dealing with that. If he don't want this, then I'm not dealing with that. He can get on somewhere. I can take care of myself, which a lot of you end up doing. But, you know, a lot of you are so independent and you're setting your ways. You're not willing to compromise. You're not willing to change as you get older. And the older you get, the worse you get. So at 30, you really starting to really become set in your ways. You're not changing for nobody. You're not compromising for shit. If it doesn't happen the way I want it, he can step. That's why a lot of single women walking around today. Because a lot of women at that age, essentially they're looking for GBs. And if you don't know what a GB is, I'm talking about a guy bitch. A guy bitch. A guy that they can control and manipulate and bully. And a guy that would do anything that they say. You know, a guy bitch. You know. So, you know, that hurts them, you know, reaching the age of 30, you know, and their fucked up mentality is, you know, I'm not changing and I'm independent and I don't need a man. So they either conform the way I want or they can step. So they're not only declining physically, but mentally they're set in their ways. So when you ask the average woman, what do you want in a man? I'm not saying all women are the same, right? But a lot of them want similar things. I mean, I want a man with a good salary, a man that makes 6 figures. Now, you know, that always is crazy to me. They want a man making 6 figures. That is very rare. That's hard to find. And, you know, you have a lot of women who are asking for these high salaries. How much you make? Well, right now, I'm only making 30, but you making what? You know, well, I'm not supposed to be the one, the breadwinner of the family. Says who? Who says that a man is supposed to make more than a woman? You know, that's some old 50 shit. You know, and I did an episode on that quite a few back. that just because he's a man don't necessarily mean that he has to make more money. But anyway, a lot of women are looking for that. Looking for men who making six figures and they're not bringing shit to the table. Or even if they are making six figures, it's not realistic for them to find a man that makes that. You shouldn't set your goals into finding a man who makes six figures. It's that or bust. They don't want to come down from that. That's why a lot of women walking around single. Trying to help you. You better listen. A lot of men, a lot of women want a man who's tall and handsome. Okay, we all want attractive people. But when you get past 30, maybe you need to reassess that. Better yet, are you attractive? A lot of women want tall and handsome, and they look like weeble wobbles. But I'm a woman. It don't matter. A lot of women want blue eyes. A lot of women want a guy with a big house. 6 rooms, 5 bathrooms. I'm serious. There's women out there looking for this shit. A lot of women want guys with no kids. And sometimes they have kids, but they don't want a guy with kids. Some women only want to be with guys from certain professions. I only date doctors. I only date lawyers. That's bullshit. And, ladies, I'm going to tell you something. I know some doctors and I know lawyers who are single, and they are really, I don't want to say dogs, but they fuck a whole lot. Because they know, I had them, they talk to me because, we boys, and they say once they show them the card, and once they prove to them that they're a doctor or a lawyer, like I had one lawyer friend, he allowed the girl he was trying to fuck to come to court and watch him deliberate his case. He'd say it worked. He got the pussy, Doctors come to the hospital and watch him and, do surgery or some shit. And that's all good. But a lot of times, I'm going to tell you, this is another time where I'm putting my card up for jeopardy. For you women, you exes, they tell me that, a lot of times those guys know that they're cream of the crop. They know that they're a rarity. And they use it to their advantage. They know women out there looking for them because of their profession and because of how much money they make, And they use that to their profession. They use women and they fuck them. And then when they get tired of them, they throw them aside. They know when they tell women, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor. They know that has high stock. And women out there that would date them just because of their profession. They know this. So they use it to their advantage, women. They use it to fuck you and move on. But a lot of you still out there, I only date doctors. I only date lawyers. I only date pilots. What about the electricians? What about the plumbers? What about the teachers? What about the managers in, McDonald's? What about the principals? What about the policemen, the firemen? The regular dirty motherfuckers. They're good men too. What about love? I always come back to that Because I think that is so much of the problem that, is the reason why so many marriages are fucked up in today's society. There's no love. It was people worrying about all this other physical shit and financial shit. Everything they should be worrying about except for love. The main thing they should be worrying about. So, should a woman settle after she reaches 30? Yes, but I'm not talking about just getting any damn thing. I'm not talking about getting a guy, if he breathing, get him. I'm not talking about that. So women always want to work in the extreme, Oh, I want this guy and that guy. And then when you tell them, maybe you ought to get this. Oh, you want me to settle for something worse. No, not worse. I mean, just maybe more realistic. I think that would be a better word to use. Not a worse guy. He's still a good man. But just because he's not a lawyer, he's a teacher, doesn't take his manhood away. Yeah, he don't make as much money. But what is money when there's love? And you can be married to a lawyer or a doctor and be miserable. If he don't love you. You got married for the wrong reasons. You married him for the wrong reasons. You married him because it's profession, but you don't love him. So do I think you should settle? Yeah. Yeah, I do. But I think you should be more realistic when you pass 30. There's a difference. I'm not talking about getting a worse or a deadbeat. Instead of getting a guy who's tall and handsome, maybe you get a guy who's short and average looking. Instead of a guy making six figures, get a guy who's making 50, 60. You don't know his potential. You don't know his goals and aspirations. He might have a plan in 5 years to open up his own electronics shop, or maybe he's saving up to buy a McDonald's, or maybe he's saving up to invest in real estate. You don't know the potential. And that's what the problem is. A lot of you want to go into it already with no work. A lot of you don't want to build. You want it all at once. You want them, you want success already. You don't want to build together. Instead of a man with a big house with a 6'5", what's wrong with a 3'2"? What's wrong with that? If you get in there, you have kids, and he opens up his own real estate business, eventually maybe you will move in at 6'5". But build together. So, if he's on the 6'5", he's in the 3'2", give him a chance. If the guy's not a doctor or a lawyer, but he's a teacher, policeman, a manager in Dunkin' Donuts, whatever, doesn't mean he's not a good man. Is he someone that you can actually love? So when I say settle, I'm not talking about getting any knucklehead that comes along. That's not what I'm talking about. Just to get married. No. But what I am saying, after you get 30 and you're not as good as you used to be physically, and you're getting older, so you're becoming more and more set in your ways as far as being able to compromise with a person. And as we all know, compromise in a relationship and marriage is very important. But if you're unable to compromise with a person, that it's not going to be good for you. You're going to end up alone. You're going to end up alone and independent by yourself. So I am saying settle, but I'm saying it in a way I want you to become more realistic with your desires of a man. Instead of tall and handsome, short and average. You know, instead of a lawyer, a doctor, maybe a teacher, sanitation worker. You know, instead of blue eyes, brown eyes. Fuck all that shit. Instead of six figures, you know, 50,000, 60,000. But he's a good provider. He's a good worker. He has goals. He loved you. The potential to love you. He's a good man. So that's all I'm saying. Think about your desires, what you see in a mate when you get past 30. And I think if you really want to get married, or you really desire to get married, you definitely should settle. But my idea of settling is becoming more realistic. Become more realistic. Don't be silly. Be loved. You can be independent, but you be independent by yourself. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be alone. We're not designed like that. So, ladies, if you're past 30, settled. Please, settle. Not for something worse, but something more realistic. That's all I'm saying. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, my makeup episode from the Tropical Storm. Be sure to check out the X and Y Show next week for the regular one show release. I'm on every podcast network that you want to say. I'm on iHeart, Apple, Podbreed, Google, Audacity. I'm on all that shit. So check them out. Please subscribe. Definitely let me know how much you love me. I'm also on social media. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram. So be sure to follow me on those as well. You can also buy things from my store, which is online. You can find everything at www.xyshow.com. And you can find everything there. So be sure to check me out. And I guess that's it. So I want you always to remember that you can't have love without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on, or not.